What's up there, YouTube? All right, the day of reckoning has come. My Corsair memory came. My Western Digital Black NVMe. The brand new drive just came out. The new 512 gig Western Digital Black NVMe. Sweet. Can't wait to try this. Bam! What a big box. The Ryzen 1700 with the cooler. I haven't opened it yet. It just came in today. So I'm going to be building this computer right now. Today is Tuesday the 14th. So Tuesday, March 14th, 2017. I'm going to be building the computer. I'm not going to be using the air cooler unless I feel like, unless I have a problem with remember my other video about the Corsair H105 cooler not having a backplate, and I found a backplate. I'm going to try to use the backplate and use the Corsair with this. But I'm going to do an unboxing real quick of this with the 1700 with the cooler, so you can see what the cooler comes with on the factory. I'm not going to be building this case right now. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and render out a project in Premiere with my current system, and then I'm going to build this one. And here's my idea. I saw a video. Normally you have to reinstall Windows. Well, I don't really want to reinstall Windows. I can. I bought a copy of Windows 10. Not going to show you the key code here on the back, but here's a copy of Windows 10, Microsoft Corporation. Windows 10 Home. I had Windows 8.1 Pro and I had Windows 7 Professional because it wouldn't support over 16 gigs of RAM or something way back when I upgraded to Windows 10. So I have Windows 10 Pro on this computer. I don't think there's much of a difference between Pro and Home on Windows 10, but I would rather like to keep this for me, this copy, and not have to reinstall all my apps. My boot drive is a Samsung 840 Pro, whatever. It's like two years old or 3 years old, something like that. SSD, it's a decent SSD, but it's stuck on the slower SATA drive space and stuff on this older motherboard. So I'm not only increasing my original drive thing, but I'm also increasing it to a big old NVMe SSD. And I'm increasing it. It was a 250 gigs, I think is what my drive is right now. I doubled the size and went to that. Sweet mother. What I'm going to try doing first is cloning it, and then it says if there's I saw a video on YouTube that said if you change out your motherboard and your processor, you can go in and say, help, I changed out stuff on my computer and I want to re-register it on my computer without having to pay for an upgraded license. If that doesn't work, because I've heard both things, I've heard that it doesn't work to do that, because if you change a motherboard or CPU, they consider it a new computer. If that doesn't work, then I'll install my fresh copy of Windows 10 on this PC, and I'll take that SSD and put it back in this system here, which will be my old system. But right now, real quick, here I'm going to show you the render times. I'm going to leave the files on the original hard drive. They're on a Western Digital Black 2 terabyte drive that's in the bottom of my case. Those are still going to be in the case. I'm going to clean this area off and move my monitors. I'm moving my monitors. Well, you can see there's my monitors, and my voice is talking through I record my audio through this microphone that I made a video about. But I'm moving these monitors over to this corner over here. I'm moving them over to there because I have them now and they're like facing the window. See the windows back there? I use a tripod. I can still use that space and have my monitors there over in that corner. That space is kind of wasted with a phone and some other stuff. There's nothing that's like wasted space. So I'm going to move my stuff over to this area, put my keyboard and mouse right here, and that way I'll have a spot to build stuff right here, like in front, and I'll be able to build and work on stuff right here in this light that looks really nice right here by the window. And I'll be able to do videos of other things without having these monitors in the way with my camera that way, so the light's coming through the window. So it just looks better. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to export this project, and it has, I don't know what's at the beginning. I guess it starts with this. Starts with my what's up there YouTube thing. But it's just it's 4K footage. I don't need it at full. We'll do it half for previewing. But it's 4K footage. We're going to file, export. I'm just going to pick a preset. This is on my existing computer right now. We're going to not match source. We're going to pick YouTube because I want it to. I'm going to do it just like I normally would. Normally I'd adjust the settings, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pick a preset so that every time it's repeatable. So the next time I can repeat it exactly. All I'm going to do is change the name of it. We're going to call it something else. Let's go to Projects, YouTube, Ryzen build, new folder, export. That's going to be my export folder, and we're going to call this i7-970 export. i7-970 export. That's my current system. Export, MP4, save. There we go. That's it right there. We're just going to export it right here. Now, I will say I have to check my video card. Let me change my video card because not my mouse. I will show you the mouse thing anyway, but right here. It's my video card's overclocked a little bit. I'm not going to overclock it. Let's set it to default. Turn the on-screen display off. So it's the default clock settings. Okay, there we go. Now my video card's at the default clock settings. Everything's at default. I can close that back. Everything's default. I picked a preset. I didn't make any adjustments. It shows you what the preset is right here. I just put where I'm going to put it, and that's it. So now we're going to queue it with Adobe Media Encoder, and I'm going to start it. It's 15 minutes long. That's plenty long enough. That's a good length of time to have for. That way we'll see how the cores are. I'm going to show you how the cores are doing and everything. So I've got Mercury Playback Engine GPU acceleration checked. So I am going to use the GPU. Start queue. Okay, there it goes. Let's go to Task Manager and see what kind of thing we're doing. Performance. CPU is at 84%, 96%. There we go. Now the GPU is obviously using some, but not that much. It hasn't even really started. Okay, it's already started. I should have exported H.265. That's what I really want to do a test of. But this will give us a good idea. So it's hovering around 80% on all cores because there's no effects on this video. This doesn't have any effects or anything that would cause it to use the CPU. This is just, it's going up to 91%. So it's CPU and GPU, 6 cores, 12 logical processors. So there's 6 hyper-threaded threads going on, and 6 on the logical cores. Or logical processors, 6 cores, like I said earlier. So here we go, exporting it. This is time remaining 0, 42:55. The lapse time isn't changing. Okay, it's done. Took 42 minutes. Oh, there it goes. It finally took it. It was having an issue with it, so it took 42 minutes. To export YouTube file. All right, today some more of my parts came. All right, so it's that file that we've already seen, and it's under Ryzen build export. So it's going to be in the exact same spot. So now I'm going to try and do the. I'm going to shut down the computer and try and do the moving stuff around and seeing what happens. And then the build is coming up right now. And what I do is I normally take the motherboard out of the box first. Stick the motherboard on top of the box, install my RAM, install my processor, and the back plate or anything like that, and put that up there and get that done first. And there you go. There you have it. Then I'll run some tests on it and see how it does. So let's get cracking. Here's the motherboard. I'll take it out. You've already seen me take this out of the case, but I'm going to take it out. I'm going to lift it up, set it on top of the box. Now what I do is I normally set it off to the side here for a second. Let me take all the stuff out of the inside and set it inside that little section so that I have all the cables and things I might need. Put them over there. I need the back plate. I need the little jumper thing for the motherboard. I don't need the stickers. Stickers nice to have, but I don't need them. Okay, so stick that stuff there. Put this stuff in the top here. I'm gonna bring all this stuff out. I don't need the also I don't need the BIOS or drivers and stuff, because what I did was I went ahead and downloaded all the drivers that I needed and a BIOS update, and you can put it in the USB one of the USB ports on here. I believe it's this 2.0. It says key lock on it. It doesn't say it here, but it says it in the manual. So you put it in there, not key lock, but it makes it, if you boot with the USB in there, it automatically update the BIOS before even doing anything. So I'll update the BIOS before I do anything to the board. So I mean to the system. So you want to put them in the first. Oh, that's odd. Only one side pulls over. Huh. See, I'm not used to it. So I believe it's the first two. The black ones, not the gray ones that you put them in. Let me see, what does it say? Actually, I'm not going to put the memory in yet because I gotta work on this back plate. So I got to do the back plate first. But here's the memory I got. I got white Corsair Vengeance memory, 3000. I was going to get 3200, but everybody was saying it wouldn't post past 3990 something. So I thought I'll wait and get 3200 to 64 when it drops down. So there's my 3200 Corsair Vengeance DDR4. There's the memory I got, which will look awesome in this white with the white and black. So here's the Western Digital Black PCIe NVMe drive. Smoking fast. There it is right there. So I'm going to get that bad boy. Goes right here. So let's put that in there. I got a screwdriver over here. You have to put a little standoff on, I believe. Yeah, you got to stand it off. So it's a little short, goes right here, like this. Goes right to there, so you need a little standoff for this one. So let's get that little screw and standoff out. It came with a couple of them. It came with a few of these little standoff deals. I don't know why. I'm assuming they're just extra. But we'll pop this one out. So I got a little screwdriver. The screwdriver is just about the right size. It's one of these unusual ones because you have these little bitty screwdrivers, and I've got a bunch of those. And then I have this one that actually, this Autocraft one, it's like from a automotive store or something. It's small enough to where it fits those little bitty screws and the right size for even the bigger screws. So I can use this screwdriver 90% of the time. I love that. I like having just one screwdriver to use. All right, so that's in there. Now let's do the back plate. So I believe I can take this off. See, it even works on these back plate screws. Real quick, let's take a look at that Wraith cooler and how it goes on before I do this. So let's cut this open, which I forgot my knife out in the car, but I've got this other knife here. So I broke the seal on the Ryzen. Oh no. I cut the seal on the Ryzen. That means it's mine. I can't give it away. Oh, I can give it away, but there it is. Ryzen 1700 right there. It's going to go very nicely in that motherboard. I'm not going to put it in until, but here's the cooler that came with this. It's actually a pretty nice cooler, it looks like. From what I hear, these are really nice coolers. I like that it has AMD written on it. I don't know if it's an LED cooler or not. I think it might be. Yeah, it's got multiple ports. It might have LEDs on it. Oh, but see, it uses the 4 screws. So technically, you could use this on almost anything. Oh yeah, it has. There's a LED extension for the. It's an LED cooler. See the LED plug? I guess that plugs in somewhere. Where is it? Under here. Under this little flap is a. Obviously, there it is. That's where you plug in your LEDs. I might try this out one day. We'll see. If there's some thermal paste. There's my AM4 or AM3 actually adapter plate. It goes. Where does it go? Okay, they go through these holes here. It goes through those holes. See, this is an adapter. This side for AMD. A2 and B2, and it goes like this. So you just put it on one side right here. You got to make sure the notch is in the right place. Snap it in. Done. All right. I like this white memory. Pretty cool, huh? Especially that it's fast. With a black and white system. Pretty cool. All right. So memory's in. CPU. Let's plop that CPU in the center there, and then we're ready to start taking the stuff out of the other system, lay the case over here, put this motherboard in, make some changes and see what we got. So the cool thing is I'll be able to run the other system, you know, swap a couple things out and run the other system. But you just line up the 2 arrows, you basically just drop it in. There it is. It's in there. Snap it down. Done. It's in there. How simple is that? Ryzen facing that way. Perfect. Here, and we're gonna set my. Next time you look here in just a second, we're gonna boom cases up. On here because I don't have the bracket. I tried using the bracket, the AM3 bracket, and the problem is I tried using it with this back plate from this LEPA cooler that I had, and this thing just doesn't hold the screws at all, and the screws fall back out through the back, and you have to have 2 hands, and it's these little washer things don't really fit inside this. See, they don't fit in this groove very well. They fit okay if you slide them in like from the side. So it's like they're a little too high off of the plate. It just doesn't fit right. It's like I'm trying to jury rig it and it's just not working. So instead of jury rigging it, I'm just gonna put on the air cooler fan leave the radiator and stuff off for now. I can't stand it. I hate it because I bought the radiator to use and I can't use it until the new parts come in. But hey, at least we'll get to see what this fan looks like. And hey, it's got a thing, and this is an RGB motherboard, so I'll be able to plug it in right there. It would be nice if that faced up. Why didn't they have that face up? Oh well, it's facing sideways. Whatever. Brought it up real quick. CPU Z, AMD, Ryzen 8 core processor. I've got it running at 3599, like 3600, just because I was just messing around with the memory and stuff, trying to get the memory to a higher number. So I got 8 cores, 16 threads. I got my memory up to 2888 or whatever, just below 3. But I can't get it up much higher because I'm using the stock air cooler. So until I get my water cooling on there, I'm not going to sit here and run this thing up super high. But let's just do a test. I'm doing my test now on Premiere. So let me launch Premiere. We'll see how fast it launches. This is on the NVMe SSD. So see how fast Premiere launches. Premiere CC 2017. It should launch fairly quick. There it is. It's on the thing. Bring in my project. Now the project files are on my regular hard drive, so they take a little bit longer to load. It's a Western Digital Black 2 terabyte, so it's a little bit longer to load on the hard drive until I get a honking SSD in there for my backup files. Anyway, so now we're going to render this exact same project. This is the one I had the other day in the thing. Let's try rendering. This is my first shot. I haven't rendered anything yet. I brought this in and I forgot that I needed to put Camtasia for screen recording, and I wanted to overclock the CPU a little bit. I've been fiddling around with that, so I haven't had a chance to really run this test at all. I have no idea. This would be a good stress test to see what the CPU and everything works, how it works right now without the water cooler on it, with just running on air. I don't have any fans blowing on it. I've got 2 fans blowing out the top. I've got 2 fans blowing out of the top of the case, 1 blowing out the back, some cool air being sucked in the front, and that's it. Really, it's just factory. It's just basically just a little bit higher than factory. It's 3.5 gigahertz, not even running fast. So let's see. File, export, media, and remember I named this a different thing, so we're going to call it. Look, it's going right to AVI. We're going to go H.264, right? And I picked the YouTube 4K preset, right? That's what I did last time, so I'm going to do that again. I'm not going to change anything. Come on. YouTube 4K preset. We're going to export video, export audio, exact same thing. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to go over here to DNR Films YouTube. We're going to go to Ryzen build, export. There's i797 export. I'm going to change this to Ryzen. .5 gigahertz. That's what I got it running at right now, 3.5 something. So this is my first export test. Now the last time it took 40 something minutes to export this. So let's see how it does with 16 threads, 16 cores, whatever. Let's see. And I constantly get a lot of things popping up. I'm getting a lot of subscribers, and I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for subscribing. So let's get this thing going. Let's go. Queue. I'm going to queue to make sure it's using CUDA cores. So I'm going to show you that it is using the CUDA cores. It's not just rendering software or anything like that. Let's check it out. I get so many extra things. I wonder why Adobe always does this. Like before it launches, it doesn't come to the thing. Okay, Mercury Playback GPU accelerated CUDA. It's ready to go. It's using the preset. Let's go for it. You ready? Here we go. let's check our thing. Here, let's go to Task Manager, Performance. It's like at 70% on all cores. Memory's going up. We got a little bit. It was saying 40 something minutes. It's down to 32 minutes. Let's see how long it actually takes. 31 minutes. So it looks like it's knocking about 10 minutes off, maybe. We'll see what the total time. Last time it was 40 minutes, 40 something minutes. So there's my CPU usage on all 8 cores, or actually 16 threads, 16 logical processors, 8 physical cores, with SMT enabled. Let's see. I believe I have it set to high performance. Let's check our settings. Oh, I don't want to mess with anything, because this is all I did last time. See, it's using 9.5 gigs of 16 gigs of memory, so I do need to add another 16 gigs, but it's still only using half. It's doing a lot of fluctuating, but the time's dropping down to 26 minutes. This looks like it's going to be pretty good. It was 45 minutes, so I'm going to pause this and come back when it's done, because I don't want to record. I didn't record the screen the whole time the last time, so I'm going to pause it and then restart it. So I'm going to hit pause on here's my Camtasia recorder. I'm going to hit pause. Okay, so it finished, and let's see how long it took. Encoding time. Here it is. I just did it today. Ryzen build export Ryzen 3.5. Encoding time, 27 minutes, 44 seconds. Now you saw the last one. It was at 45 minutes is what it took. 40 something minutes. So we'll look. What do you think? 27 minutes or 40 something minutes? Saved me quite a bit of time. All right, so there you have it, folks. The Ryzen 1700. I overclocked it. I ran it. The thing's running perfect. It knocked about 15 minutes off of my render time. So, hey, that makes me good. What I noticed is that the CPUs, all the cores weren't above, they were at like 60%, 70%. So what that tells me, all the threads rather, were like 60 or 70%. What that tells me is, before, when I had my 6/12 core, it was maxing it out. Remember in my earlier video, I said that my CPU was all the way at 100%. It was like 90%. And that it wasn't using it. It was that the GPU is actually used not as much as you think. And that's true. What happened was, my old processor, my GPU was being used enough to where my old processor was being maxed out to try and reach those, to continue to give it frames. Well, this new one has plenty of time. It has enough room with 8 cores and 16 threads. It's able to continue feeding that GPU enough. So now my GPU has become the bottleneck. It's able to give the frames to the GPU. So now the GPU has essentially become the bottleneck. Like I said before that my CPU was the bottleneck when I was rendering, because it was at 100% or close to it, 95%. And that's why on the 7700K on Battlefield 1, it's at 95% on all threads. So it's the bottleneck. The CPU is at the breaking point of being the bottleneck. As I can see right now, after rendering this, my GPU is now the bottleneck. Now if I upgrade my GPU, I'll get faster render times also, but I've also am getting the maximum render times for my GPU. So my GPU is going as fast as it can, and my CPU is able to keep up. And it's maxing all 16 threads at, it's not maximum, it's got all 16 threads at 60 or 70% right in that area, but it still has room to grow because the GPU is holding it back. So that's just fantastic. I mean, this is exactly what I was wanting. I wanted to render faster and have the upgrade actually mean something. If I upgraded my GPU GTX 760 before, it wouldn't have helped anything because my CPU was the bottleneck. My CPU
taxing all 12 cores, or all 12 threads, at 90 to 100%, so it was already maxed out. Increasing my GPU wouldn't have helped anything. I would have still been maxed out on the thing, and it'd still be waiting for processes from the CPU. Well, now, if I upgrade my GPU, I'll get a big boost. So I'm waiting for Vega. When Vega comes out, I mean, Vega's going to be better than a 1080. It's going to, I imagine Vega to be between a 1080 and a 1080 Ti. That's what I'm thinking. It'll be closer to a Ti, not quite there, but better than a 1080. If it's better than a 1080, really for rendering, it will do everything I want it to do. I'm about to go 100% AMD over here from somebody that's been with Intel for a long time. And for years, really, since the 90s, you know. So I'm happy. I'm even happy with just this, even at just above stock. It seems to be doing, it was a worthy upgrade for me. It's doing better than my old system. And I had my old system for 4 or 5 years. Oh, they're saying that we should be able to do several generations too on this. So when they come out with a Ryzen 2 or something, I can upgrade to that if I want to with the same motherboard. That's a pretty big deal, because when you upgrade your motherboard, that's when you have to reinstall Windows and buy a new copy of Windows, which I had to do. That's what took so long, was I had to get my new copy of Windows, put a new copy of Windows on there, download all my Creative Cloud apps again, put them all back in there. I had a bunch of stuff to do. Either way. Anyway, it's been good, YouTube. Take it easy. I'm out of here. I'm tired. I'm tired of doing this. I've got work to do, so I'm going to get back at it. Appreciate your time. Thanks everybody for subscribing. If you like this video, like it. If you don't, I don't care. But subscribe. You know, hit the subscribe button down below. Comment down below. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you guys think. See if there's something you guys want me to do with the 1700 while I've got it. Wait until I get on water to overclock to 4 gigahertz. I'm going to try and get close to 4 gigahertz on the overclock. Wait till I get to there, and then we're good to go. So anyway, holler at you later.